Hi, I'm Dan Costa, editor-in-chief of PCMag.com, and welcome to Fast Forward, part of an ongoing conversation about living in the future. We are still recording at South by Southwest, a technology, music, and film conference here in Austin, Texas. And one of the big themes at this conference is artificial intelligence. And I'm very pleased to have my guest here to help us understand what artificial intelligence means. Diane Bryant, thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It's great to see you.
You are the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Data Center Group for the Intel Corporation. Data centers, most people think they're kind of boring, but you can do incredible things with them.
Yes.
It's also the most profitable division inside of Intel.
Yes.
People think of Intel as a chip company, but the data center business has exploded in recent years. And part of that is driving this AI revolution.
Right, absolutely. We talk about artificial intelligence, and literally the artificial intelligence, that discipline was founded in 1956. So we're talking a long time ago. And so it's crazy to now think about how that area has simply exploded and is transforming literally all businesses, and it'll transform the way you and I engage with the world. And this has all just happened really in the 2010s. Mm-hmm. It's just really taken off.
So what we talk about artificial intelligence, it can be a difficult thing to define. So how do you define artificial intelligence?
So artificial intelligence is a computer system with human-like capabilities. So the ability to think and predict, to learn and predict. That's the definition of it. And so you say, well, it sounds pretty simple, so why did it take from 1956 to now? The issue is, in order for a computer system to be able to learn and to demonstrate some of those human attributes of learning and predicting an event, you have to feed it massive, massive amounts of data and compute on these very, very large models, right? It's going to take a lot of information for a computer system to draw a conclusion. And historically, there just has not been the affordable compute capacity and storage capacity and network bandwidth capacity to actually process that magnitude of information. We'll take credit at Intel for Moore's Law and this ever increasing beat rate of delivering more and more technology, more capability at lower cost. Because of Moore's Law, you get to the point where you literally can compute on those massive data sets and actually have a computer system predict an event for you.
So there's a processing component to it, and it's also, you need the data sets to work with.
You need the data sets, absolutely. So there's the compute and storage technology that my organization is responsible for delivering, the fundamental technology into those systems. Then you need the algorithms, those predictive algorithms, which is a rapidly evolving space, really a fun space, lots and lots of data scientists needed in order to keep that beat rate going. And then you're right, there's the software solution and service on top of it. It's an entire solution set that needs to come together.
And Intel plays in this solution set in multiple places.
We do. So we are, at our heart, we're a technology company. As you noted, in the old days, we were the PC company. That's our roots, our legacy.
In the old days, we were the PC magazine.
So there you go.
Now we're much more.
Now we're much more. We've all evolved to be bigger and better. So we were the PC company, and now with the fact that every company is increasingly dependent upon server storage and network infrastructure, not just to run their business like the good old-fashioned IT organization was there to help businesses run their business, but now using IT services as revenue opportunities, so cloud services to augment your existing revenue stream. So you hear about every company on the planet is going through the digitization of their company. What does it mean to be living in the world of mobile computing and cloud computing? So it has definitely evolved. So we've moved from the PC company to the data center company and all of the billions of things that connect into the data center.
It was one of the trends of this fast forward is that every business is becoming a technology business.
Yes.
Like you may be a retailer,
yes,
but you're also a technology company, and you need to not just use these tools, but use the tools to innovate.
Yes, it is. And so at Intel, then our responsibility is obviously to continue to serve those enterprises, their IT organizations that have the traditional IT operations, but also our responsibility is to help those companies evolve themselves, to digitize, to look for new revenue streams and new revenue opportunities based on cloud computing. And an obvious, easy example of artificial intelligence and applied to an existing industry is autonomous driving or assisted driving, moving to highly autonomous driving, moving to fully autonomous driving. driving out in 2035. That happens because you have a car manufacturer, and they have now evolved to where they're going to deploy cloud services to their consumers. So I sell you the car, but then I continue to engage with you and deploy services to that car, whether it's navigation services or entertainment services or maintenance services. So those are additional services that I deploy with you, and then over time you end up being an autonomous car manufacturer, and you're now really a technology company with cars.
In terms of, so AI it's early days in a lot of ways, but there are AI systems that are available today that businesses are using. Can you just describe some of the best examples?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, assisted driving today, you have cars that will give you a three-point parking solution or keep you in your lanes. That's all AI solutions today. You look at the healthcare industry. The healthcare industry is rapidly deploying AI solutions. We worked with some of the biggest hospitals in China recently on an AI solution that allows the AI system to actually read your medical images to determine whether or not you have a malignant tumor. They have a significant shortage of radiologists to do that manually when you have a population of 1.3 billion people. And so out of demand, out of a true need, they've deployed an AI solution to do that first pass, and they've proven now that the AI solution is actually more accurate than the human-based solution. So you have an opportunity here through AI to unleash a constraint. So you're delivering an AI solution either to deliver you something you never had before, like assisted driving, or to unleash a physical fundamental constraint in the system, like a shortage of a certain skill set or opportunity.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the promise of AI is to break through a lot of those constraints in all sorts of different industries.
In all sorts of industries. We talked this morning with a company called Farm Logs, and it was founded by two kids that grew up on farms, and they looked at the world of technology and said, how come technology hasn't come to our world, the farming community? There's a huge demand, pent-up demand. The World Banks will say that by 2050, the world needs to increase the food production by 50% in order just to serve the population at that time, 9 billion people projected, and to do so while the amount of agricultural land total is declining every single year. So that's a huge challenge. You have a huge constraint, a fundamental constraint around food production. There's nothing more basic. So you take artificial intelligence, you apply it to the field. Now you can aggregate data about weather and soil content and fertilization and output yield of that acreage of land. And you can now improve upon the production of the land and help farmers get a bigger return out of their fixed capacity.
And it's really something that's happening globally too. In the US, we have a certain set of problems, certain set of issues, but when you start to scale this technology out globally, that's where it really starts to make a difference.
Well, it is, and you look at China's, you think about China as a still developing nation, and yet they are the first to embrace next generation technology. They don't have the legacy in many instances, right? They're not carrying around the way we used to do things and having to go through that change factor. They're actually bringing up solutions as computer-based AI solutions. Smart cities is another great example. They're bringing up new cities. They're bringing them up as smart cities, right? Let's get efficient in the way we deploy solutions to the residents in our area.
Yeah, they're leapfrogging all those intermediate steps.
Exactly.
And building from.
And you see it in India as well, as they're building out infrastructure. They're going straight to wireless, right? They're skipping that whole generation. And once you have wireless connectivity and pervasive connectivity, there's things you can do that you couldn't do with the legacy environment.
So a big part of AI, as you mentioned, is the ability to predict human behavior. I think that's where, first of all, that's where a lot of utility gets generated, but it's also where a lot of users are like, is artificial intelligence going to know me better than I know myself? Am I going to be marketed to in ways that I can't control or predict? Is it a good thing that AIs can predict human behavior so efficiently?
So I obviously will say, of course, it's a good thing, because again, you're stuck with a certain situation, and if you can unleash a given constraint through technology, then I would say it's a good thing. You think back really when the internet became pervasive, late 90s, early 2000s, there was a lot of concern about privacy of data. Data privacy was a big topic. You've noticed now over time that it's become less of a topic. So every time there is a revolution, and I will say AI is a revolution, just like the Industrial Revolution and then the digital revolution, and then the information revolution with the internet, this is the next big revolution. And anytime you have a big revolution, and rightly so, people stand back and say, what are all the unintended consequences? And should I be that excited about this? And as you see with each of those waves, nobody's looking back and saying, oh, we should have never launched that internet thing, like that was crazy, right? So, but at the time, there was a lot of concern of everyone being connected, everyone having access to data, and it can be, you can talk yourself into a situation where you're concerned. But of course, there's so many positive benefits of it that just dwarf the concerns that the revolution moves on and people move with it. So today, you have conversations around AI and what could it mean from a negative perspective if you have a rogue computer who's unsupervised, who doesn't adhere to the social norms, like what will happen, right? I mean, and you hear these concerns, but it is good to have the conversations to talk it through and to then work through those concerns and get to a positive end state, because the positive impact of artificial intelligence, the opportunities far outweigh the negatives.
I think there's also individuals feel a little bit powerless. They feel like AI is something that can be used by Intel, it can be used by Wall Street financial firms to do complex models, but I think smaller companies and individuals feel like this is something for big companies to use, but not necessarily something they're going to be able to take advantage of.
So I definitely wouldn't agree with that, as you would anticipate, I would say, right? So that's the beauty of the cloud. As we started, I said, why now, right? One of the key technology innovations that has unleashed AI is cloud computing. So just like now you have your phone and you have all kinds of access to apps and services on your phone, those services are delivered from the cloud. You will have AI services delivered from the cloud, and it's completely democratized. Everyone has access. We were talking today to a company called Picasso, and they use artificial intelligence to analyze an artistic style of a Matisse or a Monet or a Cubist artist, and then take that style and help you develop your own art with that style. So the merging of the two images through artificial intelligence. It's an app. It's a cloud-based app. Anyone has access.
And they're a small company?
And they're a very small company. Very small, 40, 50 employees, very small company. So these are cloud-based services, just like you have your map solution today. You don't think about it. It's democratized. Everybody has, anybody with a smartphone has a map solution. Same thing. All these artificial intelligence solutions are delivered through the cloud, either delivered to a device like an automobile in the case of autonomous driving, or delivered to you through your smartphone or tablet. So the democratization of AI comes with the reduction in the cost of access. And that's back to Moore's Law and that continuous decline in the cost while you're increasing the capacity of technology. It becomes democratized.
The other concern people have is automation. I interviewed Vivian Ming at CES. She's an AI expert and an entrepreneur, and she builds AI engines to solve problems for people. And the quote she gave me was that if you're doing the same job you were doing a year ago in the same way, she's going to write an AI engine that will replace you and do that job, because that's what AIs are good at, is tasks that can be turned into processes. Are you worried that there's a fundamental risk to jobs both in the U.S. and globally when AI comes to its own?
So the risk to a worker of their job being displaced by an AI or a computer system is one of those worries that comes up when you talk about artificial intelligence, absolutely. And there will be some jobs certainly that are displaced through continued automation and improvement in the intelligence of those automated systems. But if you also were to go out and ask any company in the US what their biggest constraint is, they would say workforce. They don't have sufficient trained workforce. So to your point, or to Vivian's point, I guess, your job may not be the same, but we still need you to do a job. It's just a different skilled job. And so the key, I think, for all of us in enterprise is to continue to provide upskilling to the workforce. As technology continues to get deployed into enterprises, as enterprises evolve into the digital world, their need for skilled employees is going to continue to increase. So the focus has to be on how do we upskill the workforce in order to support those next generation demands. The best quote, so Andrew Ng, who's a data scientist at Baidu, I love what he said. He said, just like the Industrial Revolution eliminated much of the the Industrial Revolution eliminated much of the physical drudgery for you and me, the artificial intelligence revolution will eliminate much of the mental drudgery for me. So we're pulling off the low-hanging fruit of the work that can be, to your point, can be automated, can be displaced. so that we're all free to move up the stack and do the higher value, higher meaning work. And it does mean a reskilling. It will absolutely mean a reskilling.
Microsoft Excel didn't put all accountants out of business. We still need accountants. We need more of them. But they're doing higher level work. They no longer have to do all the arithmetic.
And much more efficiently. They're more efficient. They can apply their true brain power and skills to solving the gnarly problems instead of the manual calculations. So you've made them more efficient. You've made their impact to the world greater.
So what are those skills? I mean, we talk about upskilling. We talk about education being important and lifetime education.
Yeah.
Whether you're a 21-year-old coming out of college and getting your first job, what skills do you need? Or if you're a 50-year-old who, your job has been eliminated through automation and you need to retask and reskill for the next chapter in your career, what skills do you see really having?
Well, it is any technology-based skill set, and we talk about the fact that you still have liberal arts colleges, kids getting liberal arts degrees, but whatever industry they go in, that industry is touched and is connected to technology in some way. And so even if you're a liberal arts major, you've got to have some basic foundational knowledge of technology. It's just a fact. And it used to be that technology had permeated all industries. Now it's pervasive in all industries. And so that fundamental knowledge of technology, the application of technology, is kind of like math or applied math. Right? There's technologists, the people that are really inventing the next generation AI solution, and then there's applied math, right? Applied technology. And so that you've got to have that fundamental knowledge of being able to apply technology to your job. You don't have to be the deep technologist, but you've got to be able to operate in an environment where there is applied technology.
Okay, I want to get to my closing questions, questions I ask all my guests. What technology trends concern you the most going forward?
Technology trends concern me the most.
Yeah,
I have no fear of technology.
No fears at all.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? No, I don't fear technology. What are my technology trends I fear the most? Wow, maybe I live in the Pollyanna world of everything is bright and rosy Valley. In the world of technology. It's Silicon Valley. I've been at Intel for 32 years. I have seen innovation left and right. I am always amazed at what gets invented tomorrow. I live amongst 40,000 engineers who wake up the same way thinking, what are we going to do tomorrow? So nothing about technology scares me.
Let's flip it and say, what are you most optimistic about? What is, what really inspires you?
I am truly inspired by the application of technology and in particular artificial intelligence to healthcare. And the healthcare industry has been ripe for disruption and innovation for a very long time. And now we have very tangible solutions of the impact that can be had. In my group in 2015, we kicked off an effort called All in One Day by 2020. And we said, in 2015, by 2020, if you have cancer, you should be able to walk into your doctor's office. The doctor should be able to fully sequence your genome, compare that genome sequence and all the imaging data with a vast array of that data set from around the world, take those results, find the matches, determine what your disease actually is, what treatments have been applied to that, what the impact of that treatment was, did the patient survive or not, and then through that deliver to you a personalized treatment plan and do that all in one day. There's no reason why that can't be done. And we can have a huge impact on something that is as pervasive as cancer. I mean, half of all men and a third of all women will have cancer in their lifetime. So I'm sure you know someone. My mom died of cancer. I'm so inspired by the tremendous impact we can have in curing some fundamental diseases through technology and AI.
2020 is only 3 years away.
And I'm not scared. We all I'm not scared of technology. We're
detecting some optimism.
I am very optimistic because you can see AI solutions getting deployed piecemeal into the healthcare industry as they're awakening. And you bring that together, the partnerships we've formed with major cancer research institutes around the world, the environment is ripe for disruption, absolutely ripe for disruption.
All right, and in terms of a product, a service, a gadget that you use every day, is there anything you use that every time you use it, you're just like, wow, this is fantastic, I'm so glad somebody invented this?
Oh, the latest thing I found was my online doggy daycare You can literally track your dog as he leaves your house, is picked up by the doggy daycare, leaves your house, goes to the doggy daycare. He has a great time, by the way.
GPS?
By a GPS. I can track him. I know who he's playing with, his little doggy friends, who they're all playing with.
Nice.
A lot of information that I probably don't need.
It's important to know who your dog is hanging out with. You don't want them to fall in with the wrong crowd.
The wrong crowd, and before you know it, you got a behavioral problem. So, so I just subscribed, and I'm like, wow, it makes my life so easy. As a working mom, very busy, my online doggy daycare is fabulous.
Good answer. If people are interested in finding out more about what you're doing, what you're doing with Intel, how can they find you online?
So they can find us online at intel.com.
All right.
Yep, we're always available.
All right. Diane, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is Fast Forward for today. I want to thank you for joining us. If you want to find back episodes of this show, you can find them on PCMag.com. If you want to listen to the show as a podcast, you can find it wherever fine podcasts are downloaded for free. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you in the future.